All right. Welcome, everybody. Day one of the Funded Trader Bootcamp. Let me catch my breath here. I just ran down to my computer. Super excited to get this kicked off. Who is excited for day one of this bootcamp? I believe this will be the single biggest and best and baddest event that we have ever done to date. I'm super excited for those of you that are guests, so welcome. For those of you that have been a part of our community, welcome. Really excited about really everything that is going to take place over the next couple days, and even more importantly, what can really take place in your lives if you apply the stuff that you learn over this next 3 days to your life, right? Ultimately, when we talk about information and we, teach, educate, and really try to impact and inspire you, you realize, you have to apply it to your life, right? You have to get in the habit of applying the stuff that you're learning to your life. I really love, I don't know if you've ever heard this breakdown before, but when you look at the word information, right? Information, it comes into your mind, right? It comes into your brain and you process it, right? It forms in your brain. And then the part that people leave out the majority of the time is that action part, right? Inform action. So, information is really what separates, the wealthy people from the non-wealthy people. When I learned about, how wealth was created in the world, when I learned about how, successful people think different, and I realized that the only thing that separates people who are poor, living in poverty, or, going through these, this tragic cycle of, depression and the poor me victim lens mentality, the only thing that separates those people from the other people who are always positive, who always have a good attitude, who are, always aspiring to be more, do more, become more in life. The only thing that separates those two groups of people is information, right? It's information. And right now we live in the world of information. We live in the information age. There's never been a better time in history to create wealth for you and your family. There's never been a better time in history to enter the profession of trading. For those of you that are already in the trading industry, who have maybe tried the trading industry, or maybe are just looking to get involved in the trading industry, there's never been a time greater than right now to get involved and to take this actually seriously. We live in really interesting economic times. From an economic standpoint, the whole landscape of the world has changed, since 2020, moving from, your brick and mortar to click and order. You have, everybody, working from home now. It's things are different, and different times require different skills. And no matter where you are in your life, no matter what you've been through in your life, it can all change with just applying the correct information. So, today I want to talk about what makes a great trader. We have some amazing announcements that we're going to be making over the next 3 days. We got new courses launching. We got a new program launching that's going to help traders get funded. We have so many amazing things. I can hardly even sleep at night knowing the impact that we're going to have on the industry of trading and also society as a whole. And I'm truly blessed to be in a position to work with some amazing people to make this all possible. We have an amazing team, behind Driven and IX Global, and everything that we all stand for is just truly amazing to see a group of people come together with pure intentions and have a purpose of changing the world, right? Changing people's lives. How do we change the world? We change people's lives. That's what we do, right? We're in the business of changing people's lives. And so, this course that we're going to go through, and this boot camp that we're going to go through over the next 3 days, we're offering it to the world for free. So you can literally learn how to get an upper hand on your life, on your family, and to really see, is this something that might be for me, right? Is this something that might be for me? So today I'm going to actually kick off this event by talking about what does it take to become a great trader, right? What does it take to become a great trader, and what makes a great trader? Okay. What makes a great trader ultimately? And there's some things that as I was preparing this talk for you guys today, there were some things that really stood out for me. Now, I've been in this industry since 2012. I got introduced to the stock market, and I was kind of just dabbling into it. I wasn't really looking at this to be my career, my profession. I actually went to this meetup group, and I was there to meet new people, right? And there was a lot of successful people that were really trying to figure out how to trade. I got introduced to the stock market. I started trading penny stocks. And after a year of trading penny stocks, I got introduced to the Forex industry. Loved the Forex industry, made my first 7 figures as a Forex trader, and then found the futures market and realized that there's a lot of different markets and there's a lot of different ways to trade. I spent well over 6 figures on education trying to learn how to master this skill. And I realized that there is no better form of mastery than just applied mechanics of what you're learning. There's a lot of strategies that work. There's a lot of indicators that work. There's a lot of algos that work. There's a lot of different things that work. But the one thing that I figured out in this whole journey that I've been on, for over a decade now, is that there is nothing more powerful than developing yourself into the most powerful trader in the world. So my goal every day, and I'm a big believer in affirmations and, speaking things into existence. My whole entire, affirmation statements that I was making to myself every day is I'm so happy and grateful now that I am the best trader in the world. And I would literally repeat that to myself every single day on a daily basis and affirm that into my life. I am so happy and grateful now that I am the greatest trader in the world. Right? I'm so happy and grateful because I get to change my family's life. I get to change people's lives. And, for the first few years of repeating that over and over again, I was trying to figure out, man, am I going to figure this out? Right? It was a little bit difficult. This was before the abundance of information. This is before education was really even a thing in trading, and seeking out the right information and finding the right professionals to actually teach me how I can do this was very difficult to find. Right? It was very difficult to find. Hence, one of the reasons why I decided to start this company Driven and build this team that we've built. And here's the thing that I want to tell you guys. Right? My career in trading has been remarkable. I got into private equity management in 2016. I had top 1% grossing portfolio worldwide for 4 consecutive years, made rich people a lot richer, right? That was my life for years, 5 years of my life, 5 days a week, 8 hours a day, living my life behind a computer screen, making rich people richer. And I did very well, right? Ferrari in the garage, multi-million-dollar home. I had every single dream car that I've ever wanted to date. I've had, and still have. Right. And it's been a really amazing skill and an amazing industry. But I realized that there was a little bit more to life than just living behind my computer, trading, rich people's money and making them richer. I wanted to go give back. I wanted to, help average, ordinary people that had unordinary dreams and goals in life achieve them. And I knew that they could do it through the skill. And I looked at the abundance of gurus out there in the market that were selling the idea of making money in the financial markets. And none of these people were even trading money themselves. They were selling courses, right? And I just wanted to do it different. I wanted to do it. And I did it out of necessity to really help people, because I believe that this is a skill that everybody has the ability to learn. I want to be able to take what's normally only available for accredited investors, people who have $1 million net worth or more, and I wanted to make that available for the average ordinary person worldwide, across the globe, any country, any background, it doesn't matter. I believe that, anybody can learn this skill. And I believe that with the right coaching and the right guidance, that anybody can master this skill. So today, to kick off this entire boot camp, I want you to implement these principles into your life, and know that these are the principles that you need to implement in order to make this journey successful, in order to succeed on this journey, in order to achieve victory on this journey. You're going to need to implement these things into your life. And if you don't, and if you say, man, I don't know if I can even get through this stuff, then this may be not for you, right? It's not going to be for everybody. Just because it's available to be for everybody doesn't mean that it's going to be for everybody. And that's okay. That's totally okay. But I want to talk today about what it takes to be great. Okay. What does it take to be a great trader? This is a subject that holds the key to success, I think, in the world of trading, because if you're not trying to achieve excellence in any area of your life, or in any new skill you go to learn, or any new industry you dare to enter, if you're not trying to be the best at it, if you're not trying to be the best and you settle for mediocre, That's ultimately where most people quit and fail, right? That's where you quit and fail. There's a book called Good to Great. It's by Jim Collins, phenomenal book. And it talks about what can I be the very best in the world at? So when you come into this industry, you should come into this industry with the idea that I have the ability to learn like everybody else. It might take me a little bit longer than some, or maybe you're the person that learns really fast. That's good too, right? But it doesn't matter what your learning capabilities are. If you have a desire to want to achieve more in your life, you will achieve it through this industry if you stay disciplined to the process. Okay. I want to go into the qualities and the principles that define a great trader, the principles that I wish I would have instilled into my life earlier on in my trading career, but I had to learn the hard way. Okay. I want you guys to understand that trading is an art form. Okay. It requires discipline. It requires knowledge and really the ability to adapt to, the changing market conditions, right? Market is changing all the time. In fact, when I started trading the futures market, S&P 500 futures in 2016, the average range of the market every day was about 15 to 20 points. The average range of that exact same market today is 50 to 100, right? 50 to 100. Now, if you understand that from a risk standpoint and your strategies can adapt, that just means that you can get much bigger risk to reward opportunities than what you could get before if you have a correct risk strategy, right? So you have to understand discipline. That's going to be one of the biggest things that you got to learn. You're going to have to open your mind up and to receive new information, and you have to be coachable. Okay. You have to have the ability to adapt. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is a world where fortunes are made, okay? Big fortunes. This is a world that can completely transform your life forever. But while this is a world where fortunes are made, this is also a world where fortunes are lost in a blink of an eye, okay? So it can go one way or another. So what sets apart the exceptional from mediocre? That's what I really want to talk about today. What separates the exceptional from mediocre? Like what's the difference between a Noah DeFreitas and one of these so-called gurus out there, right? What do they do? What does he implement into his life on a daily basis? What separates the great traders from the rest? Okay. I want to talk about some key attributes today that I believe every great trader has in their life. And the first one, number one, there's going to be 10. Okay. Number one is you have to have a strong foundation of knowledge. Okay. And I want you guys to write this down. This will be recorded, by the way, too. So if you can't keep up with me, that's all right, right? You can go back and watch the recording. But all great traders have a strong foundation of knowledge. And what I mean by that, they understand a deep understanding of the financial markets. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that this is all stuff that you have to figure out in your first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days. But over time, to be great, to be one of the best, you have to have a strong foundation of knowledge. You need to understand how these markets move, why these markets move, how they correlate, right? That's what's going to separate you from the herd. That's what's going to make you great, okay? The great traders, they study economic indicators and economic forecasts, right? They follow all of the global events, all of them, right? Anytime something's happening, they know when it's happening. They're right in front of the news. And I talk about positioning yourself at the forefront of a major economic movement. That's ultimately the goal of becoming great in this industry. Make sure you're positioned at the right place at the right time with the right strategies to apply, and you can change your entire life, right? You can change your entire life. Great traders, they continuously educate themselves about the nuances and the various investment instruments, right? All of them, right? Just because I'm an SPX 500 trader and I trade the E-mini futures market, S&P 500, doesn't mean that I don't study NASDAQ. It doesn't mean that I don't study Dow Jones. I know everything about those markets. I know everything about the Russell. I know everything about QQQ. I know everything about the top 25 stocks that make up the S&P 500 because I set myself out to be great. Do you need to know all those things to make money? No, you don't. You don't. But to be great, and to be in the top 1% and to be somebody that separates from the herd, yes, you do. Yes, you do. You have to be in relentless pursuit of knowledge. I want you to write that down. Great traders are in relentless pursuit of knowledge, and they use that knowledge to their strategic advantage. Great traders are in relentless pursuit of knowledge, and they use that right there as their strategic advantage. That's what makes a great trader. So a strong foundation of knowledge is number one. Number two, discipline and emotional intelligence. This is a big one, okay? This is a big one. This is actually the make it or break it point, I believe, in trading. Now, this, my friends, is a requirement, okay? Trading is an absolute emotional roller coaster, right? This is why you see the majority, and I wouldn't say the majority, but a lot, I would probably say maybe over 60% of Wall Street hedge funds are moving into AI-based trading systems. They're using algorithms, they're using artificial intelligence, but this isn't the typical AI that you get from like a network marketing company. These are $50 million, $100 million supercomputers that are masters at what they do, right? Algorithmic-based trading, very, very powerful, okay? The reason that the majority of Wall Street is moving into AI and algorithms is because they can't control the human element. And the human element is emotion, right? It's the ability to, have free will and deviate from your plan and not follow your rules, right? We all break the rules sometimes. I break the rules sometimes, right? You know what I mean? And I would consider myself a great trader. I break my rules sometimes, but when I do break those rules, I also discipline myself. And how I discipline myself is I actually have to walk away and make a commitment to myself that I also have to discipline myself on following, right? Is that if I break the rules and it hurts me or it goes for me, so whether I lose or I win, if I break the rules, I have an agreement with myself that I walk away from the markets that week and I don't come back until next week. I got to clear my head. Why did I do that? Why did I go? Because I know that my risk and my reward resides in the rules that I follow. So discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. That's it. Discipline is the ability to give yourself a command and follow it. So I talked about trading being an emotional roller coaster. I think that a lot of you that have been on this journey understand it is. Great traders, they have the discipline to control their emotions and make rational decisions all the time. All the time. At least 90% of the time. You have to. You have to. You have to be able to discipline yourself. You have to be able to control your emotions. You have to be able to make rational decisions, and you got to be able to make them fast. Great traders understand that fear and greed are detrimental to success. And they strive to maintain emotional balance. And you also have to maintain that emotional balance when it's tough, like in the face of adversity. You got to be able to do it. And if you can't do it, well, I actually think that this is something that will, be the demise to you as a successful trader. If you can't understand and you can't learn how to discipline yourself and balance your emotions as a trader, you will never make it in this industry. It has to be the things that you work on first, okay? And you know what I'm going to tell you right now? For somebody who wasn't very disciplined coming into this industry taught me discipline, patience, and emotional balance more than any other industry I've ever participated in. And I'm extremely grateful for that because I've been able to implement that into other parts of my life where it was needed, right? See, all the things that people think that trading encompasses isn't just trading and making money. There's a lot. Like I said in the beginning, trading is an art form, right? Like martial arts. You know what I mean? Gary, our COO, is a black belt in jiu-jitsu, right? 15 years of discipline to get to that achievement, right? He's like a 4th degree black belt in Taekwondo. Think about the discipline, the 20 years of discipline to get to that achievement. Trading is the same way. You can make money, right? I believe we could take anybody from any walk of life, anywhere around the world, and within 90 to 120 days, have them making money consistently, by the way, in the markets, within our academy and our course and our curriculum, and with our traders and our mentorship. However, becoming an expert will take time. There's a book by Malcolm Gladwell called Outliers. Great read. I highly recommend you read it. He talks about that anything that you would ever consider yourself a master in, if you haven't put in 10,000 hours, you are not even close to the level of mastery. 10,000 hours. Like if you truly want to master something and you didn't put in 10,000 hours, you are not a master at it. So although you may be able to come into this industry within 90 days, have a good, solid plan, strategy, an effective risk to reward process to where you're consistently making money every single month, how do you go from being that person to being one of the greatest, to being in the top 1% of portfolios worldwide? Patience, discipline, emotional balance, strong foundation of knowledge, right? These are all going to be the things that are detrimental or crucial to your success in this industry. So discipline and emotional intelligence. Number 3, risk management. Okay. Risk management. See, a lot of people come into this industry and they think, I got to be the best technical analysis trader in the world. Oh, I got a 90% accuracy strategy. I got this. Okay, great. You show me the person who's got the best risk management, and I'll show you the person who's going to win the game all day long. You should be focused on becoming a professional risk manager. That is your goal. See, the whole industry of trading and trading gurus and trading mentors has it all backwards. It's not about the strategy. It's about the risk management. Risk management is everything in trading. It is one of the biggest pieces. It's something that cannot be left unturned. This is the main thing, right? Great traders recognize that this one thing, risk management, is the key to everything in the markets. Every single market you look at, every new strategy you look to implement into your trading portfolio, every single different lane that you take, or different market that you might be trading, or different going from futures to options, or options to crypto, or anything like that. The one single thing that you have to master before you can do any of that stuff is risk management. Okay. And great traders recognize this, and they implement robust risk management strategies. So while everybody's focused on the technical strategy, what's your risk management strategy? Do you have one? Everything that you learn throughout this boot camp, and when we get done with this boot camp, what we have for you that we're going to be launching with our funding partner, with our new academy, with the Funded Trader Academy and all this stuff, everything that takes place from this moment forward for you in your life, if you come on this journey with us, it needs to really embody risk management. Okay, risk management. Because our goal is to not only get you funded, our goal is to show you how to keep the funding, grow the funding, and make a living off that portfolio. That's our goal. That goal doesn't happen or is not achievable without a risk management strategy. Everybody wants to focus on the technical strategy, but what is your risk management strategy? Do you have a plan? Do you have a checklist? Do you have rules? What is your risk management strategy? Do you have a way that you scale into your trades, that you scale out of your trades, where you adjust your stops, your trailing stops, fractal stops? What is it? You need to know what it is. You need to develop a set of rules for it, and you need to follow them. Okay? That's what makes a great trader. They also understand the importance of diversification, position sizing, setting stop losses. They focus on preserving capital as much, if not more, than generating profits. Think about this for a second. Great traders focus on preserving capital as much, if not more, than generating profits. That is a very key point that I want you guys to understand. So, a strong foundation of knowledge, discipline and emotional intelligence, risk management. Number 4, adaptability and resilience. Listen, the markets are very dynamic and they're constantly evolving. Great traders possess the ability to adapt to any changing market condition. I kind of talked about this in the beginning. They're quick to recognize the shifts in trends, and they adjust their strategies accordingly. I'm going to tell you right now, at some point throughout your trading, you're going to have to do it, especially now in the world we live in today with how much liquid is in the market. You're going to have to adjust your strategy sometimes. You need to learn how to adjust on the fly sometimes, but you still have to have a foundation of rules that you follow. Okay. Also, great traders bounce back from losses and they learn from their mistakes. They become stronger. They become more resilient in the process. Okay. So just because you lose doesn't mean you got to beat yourself up. You're going to win. You're going to lose. Everybody thinks that they have to be this, 90% accuracy trader and they got to be winning 9 out of 10 times to be successful. I teach our traders all the time that if you can show me a consistent 50 to 60%, 70%, on the high, but you're ranging 55 to 65%, and you have a good risk to reward strategy, I will take that trader all day long on my team versus the one who claims to do 90%. You can do 90% all day long because I can do 64% and I can outwin or outlast any competition. I can outgrow any portfolio, and I can land myself in the top 1% consistently year over year, year over year, year over year at about a 65% win rate. And that's really good, by the way. So the people who say I got a 90%, 90%, 90%, or this signal or this indicator or this is 90%. No, it is not. No, it is not 90%. It doesn't happen. It doesn't exist. I've been in this industry for a long time. I have purchased every single 90% accuracy indicator that exists. I have them all. In fact, if you want them, I give them to you for free because they don't work. They don't work. You could follow the rules exactly how they say, and it's not going to work. It might work for a short time, but do you realize you buy those? And I'm sure there's a lot of you on there that have bought those and bought those programs, bought those strategies, went through it all and realized that I'm doing everything they said. It's not winning 90% of the time. In fact, I'm going backwards. I'm going backwards consistently. And guess what? It's your fault. You must not be doing it right. No, it's not your fault. It just doesn't exist, right? It doesn't exist. You shouldn't be aiming to be a 90% accurate trader. You don't need to. You should be aiming to have the best risk strategy that exists and find yourself a good strategy that wins about 60%, that has really good risk to reward, meaning I'm going to enter the market and for every 1% I risk, I gain 6%. And that's your plan. And you don't even take a trade that's less than that because you don't need to. Because 6 out of 10, you're going to win and you're at a 1 to 6, 1 to 4, 1 to 8, 1 to 12, 1 to 30 sometimes. You know what I mean? There's such good strategies out there that prove this theory to be true because it is true. And it's not really a theory, I guess, because we've been implementing this into our strategies and our portfolios for years. And this is how Wall Street works. This is how the trade floor at CME Group works, right? You look at these guys, these traders, there's some traders there that are multi-billionaires. And you can look at their strategy, and they were only accurate like 39% of the time. They won 39% of their positions, and they grow their portfolio by 250% in a year because their risk strategy is so solid, right? So you have to have adaptability and you have to have resilience to these markets. You need to understand that losing is part of the process. And when you lose, you just have to get better and you have to study. Why did I lose? And half the time, once you get good and you're great, you'll realize a loss. You don't even have to look over that loss. You can look over and analyze on it. But the majority of the time, 90% of the time, it's just going to be a market, news event or something like that ultimately made that loss happen. You should get to the point to where you are consistently reading the market with very good accuracy. And that'll come from that abundance of knowledge that you'll obtain over time. Number 5, a proven methodology. Now, this is kind of what I've been talking about, through the last 4. A proven methodology. Successful traders, the greatest traders, they develop and follow a well-defined, well-refined methodology. They have a clear set of rules. They have a clear set of guidelines. And these rules and these guidelines, they govern all their trading decisions. They are the governing factor in every decision that they make in trading, period. Okay? So they have a clear set of rules and they have a clear set of guidelines, and these rules and these guidelines, they govern every decision that they make as a trader. They also understand the importance of backtesting and refining their strategies over time. Great traders, the greatest traders, consistently execute their methodology with precision and discipline. People ask me all the time, how did you get so good? Repetition. I got so good by studying what doesn't work. I got so good by understanding all the strategies out there, like a lot of them, right? The majority of all of these strategies, they work. They all work. They all work at some capacity. But I understood after studying all these great traders and working with a lot of really good traders, right? One of my mentors was head of capital markets for Wachovia Bank for 8 years and spent 6 years at Wells Fargo as head of global markets, right? A lot of money there, right? Talking in the trillions. So, when you're at that level, a little bit of a different thinking. And then on my current mentor today, right, manages a $5 billion fund, right? Very, very, very powerful trader. But like I said, he's 60% accuracy, right? But a big, big risk to reward on his thing. And the one thing that I learned from the people that were managing the biggest money and that they were the most successful is that they focus on risk and they focus on following the rules more than anybody. And I'm talking people, my mentor that taught me futures, he was trading futures for 33 years when I met him. I'm going to talk to you about how, this proven methodology concept is important, even for the traders that are in a league that you can't even compete with, right? I walked into his office, right? He had this beautiful penthouse at Hammocks Dunes Beach Resort in Palm Coast, Florida. The whole top floor, right? The whole penthouse was his, like $5.5 million penthouse, beautiful. And the very first day that I walked into his home office, all of his screens is beautiful, overlooking the ocean. I walked in and I see his trading plan laminated on his computer screen. Like he has a computer screen off to the left that doesn't really have things on, just like a terminal. And he has his trading plan laminated, taped to his computer. And I said, for somebody who's been trading 33 years, I'm in the middle of an event, babe. For somebody who's been trading for 33 years, why do you have your trading plan taped? Like, you wouldn't know your rules by now? Like, I just don't understand. And he says, this was probably one of the biggest game-changing moments for me. This is tail end of 2015, coming into 2016. Game-changing moment. He said, Corey, if I don't have my rules right in front of my eyes, it gives me a reason to not follow them. So if he's not consistently reminded of those rules that are there, even though he knows them by heart, he doesn't need to read it. But every time, he said, Corey, every time I get ready to execute a position, I look over and I see that sheet right there, and it makes me aware. It makes me aware. Is this trade in alignment with my plan? Is this trade in alignment with my rules? Is this trade in alignment with my proven methodology that I've set for myself that I know wins because I've been doing it for 30 years? I've been refining this strategy for 30 years. I've been mastering this skill for 30 years. But guess what? Sometimes I want to cheat my own system. I want to cheat my own methodology. So the reason that my trading plan is taped on my screen is because it forces me to be disciplined and follow it. That's discipline. That's discipline. If you need to put a reminder in yourself that will discipline you, then put it in front of yourself. Okay? He said, Corey, I read my trading plan every single day. It's what he starts with. Every day for 33 years. He reads his trading plan before he starts trading. I will humbly admit, I don't do that, but I probably should. And in fact, I even have it as one of the rules in my trading plan as rule number 1, read your trading plan every day. And I don't do it. I'm going to be honest. I don't do it, but I do have my rules on my screen all of the time. So I know that I need to be in alignment with my plan. I need to be in alignment with my plan. So number 5 was a proven methodology. Now, this is what makes great traders. Number 6, continuous improvement. I talked about this a little bit, but let's expand on it a little bit. The pursuit of excellence, I want you guys to understand, in anything that you do in your life is a never-ending journey. Okay, it's a never-ending journey. Great traders are committed to self-improvement. Self-improvement. And you can understand why, right? Like, as I'm going through this stuff with you, you're like, man, I thought like I was going to learn about charts and markup and stuff like this, but this is kind of more like personal development, isn't it? What I'm teaching you, patience, discipline, emotional intelligence, emotional balance, all this stuff. But this is what makes the greatest traders in the world. There is not a great trader that exists without all of these things implemented into their life. Great traders are great leaders. Great traders are great leaders because of what they've went through to get to that great level, okay? So think about this for a second. Great traders are constantly improving themselves. They keep a trading journal as well. Okay. Do you keep a trading journal? If you don't keep a trading journal, you need to create a trading journal. You need to be able to review your trades. You need to be able to analyze your performance. Okay. For example, in a trade room, sometimes I'll tell people to write down certain numbers. We might not take that trade, but I want you to write it down because then you can go back and look at, well, why didn't we take that trade? Or why did we take that trade? You should be writing them all down. In fact, you should be marking them on your charts. I'm going to actually start teaching some lessons on how to do that, right? But this is very, very important if you're wanting to be a great trader. You have to be consistently pursuing excellence, consistently working on yourself, consistently trying to get better. You have to keep that journal. You have to review your trades. You have to analyze your performance. You also have to seek feedback from mentors and your peers. You should try to attend seminars when we do them, right? We do trading summits and trading boot camps and different things like that where we have 3-day events and it's just nonstop 8 hours a day of trading. And you get to hang out with people that make millions of dollars in this market, that trade hedge funds, that do it in the biggest leagues that you can do it in. Get around those people, attend those seminars, learn and get feedback from your mentors and the people you're following. And you also want to stay updated with all the latest market trends, right? What's going on in the world? What's going on, with the debt ceiling that they're talking about this week? How is that going to affect the market? We have the Fed rate decision that's going to be coming out on the 14th of June. Why? How do I know that? Because I know it's going to be a big day for the market. We got June contract expiry on June 16th. I know all the stuff that's programmed in my head. It's a month out. I know every single day that's going to impact the market based on what the news is telling me before the news even comes out. I know what time I got to be in front of my computer. I know exactly what I need to do what the market's going to do if the news goes this way or this way. I know these things because I practice mastery of the skill. I continuously practice mastery in the skill. I'm continuously learning and applying new strategies and techniques to myself, my strategy, my methodology, because that's what separates me from the herd. That's what makes me good. That's what makes me great. And I still, in the most unegotistical way possible, speak into my life every single day that I'm the greatest in the world. Because I believe that I am. And if I believe that I am, I will be. Right? If I speak it into my life consistently over and over and over again, with frequency, by the way, then I believe that I am. And I spoke it the exact same way today as I spoke it in 2013, when I was entering into this market and I realized I was going to do this as a profession. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm the best trader in the world. But now it's a little bit different. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm the best trader in the world and I'm impacting millions of lives, right? Now it's just a little bit different what I was saying. Before it was, I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm the best trader in the world and I'm managing the most powerful portfolio in existence. Unfortunately, I spoke that into my life and I realized it just wasn't for me, right? 5 years of my life, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, living behind my computer screen, making rich people richer. All that got me was a lot of money, which was great, right? But you only can have so much and do so much with it. But I was 211 pounds, 45% body fat, and I had zero purpose in my life. So now the words are the same, just the purpose has changed of why I want to be the best and why I'll continuously seek being the best in everything that I do in my life every day, because I don't think that there's any other way to live. I think that's how you need to live. Those are the rules you need to set in your life. That's the discipline that you do need to have. Consistent, focused execution on everything that you do in your life. Okay? So you have to continuously be a perpetual learner. You have to constantly strive to refine your skills, and you will be the best as well. You will be the best as well. You will be great. Okay. So number 6 was continuous improvement. Number 7, patience and long-term thinking. Okay. I remember when I got started in the world of entrepreneurship, this was, one of the things that really changed my life in a big way. I was always trying to rush the process in everything that I did in my life, because I was really sick and tired of being sick and tired. and I wanted change in my life fast. So I was willing to outwork, outperform, outdo everybody in my life. And I'm glad I implemented those principles because I still do that today. I work harder than anybody that I know, right? I'm constantly striving to work more, do more, be more, all that stuff every day. But back then I was trying to rush through all of the things that I needed to apply, right? And I heard this one day, and it was really something that was amazing, right? It was talking about, wealthy people. And he said, in order to be wealthy in your life, right? Wealthy people, they have a long-term vision, okay? They have a long-term vision. They have delayed gratification and the power of compounding. These are the three keys to wealth. You got to have a long-term vision. You have to have delayed gratification and the power of compounding. Now, long-term vision, what does that mean for you, right? I want you to understand something. Like, greatness in this industry does not happen overnight. Great traders understand that success in trading is not achieved overnight, right? You have to have the patience to wait for the right opportunities and not succumb to impulsive trading. When I got in this industry, it was like gambling for me. I was addicted to the markets. I never found anything that was so easy to make money with. Like, I could click buttons and, markets up here, it must come down, right? And I was always in looking for these moves, and I was literally, I was gambling. I mean, I was flat out gambling. And this is the majority of people when they enter into this industry without the right coach, without the right training, without the right mentorship, without the right skills being taught, right? It's trying to rush through the process and show me how to make the money. I'm going to come and make the money, right? And then you're sitting in front of it and you're over trading and you're doing all these things that send you down a really vicious cycle. And ultimately what happens is that person gets to the point to where they implode and they quit. They quit on something that could have changed their life forever. And they were this close to having their way out of the financial matrix, out of the financial rat race. And they quit because they overwhelmed themselves. If a wealth principle is long-term vision, and another wealth principle is delayed gratification, and we live in an instant gratification society, guys. If it's not right now, then it's, you know what I mean? If it's not right now, it's like, I don't want to do it. You know what I mean? It's like, why can't I be successful overnight? Why can't I double this account in 30 days? Why is it going to take me 90 days to learn this? Like, why can't I learn it in 2 weeks? This other company said that they can teach me in 2 weeks. I'm going to go to that company. And then you realize you just lost all your money. You know what I mean? But this is just what happens out there. We live in an instant gratification society. We don't want to take the time, and we don't want to take the sacrifice to pursue something. And a lot of it is because it's the fear of the unknown. Well, like, what if I put all this time in for the next 90 days and I don't figure it out? Like, what if I find out at the end of that 90 days, it's not for me? And we live in this what if, and we're not willing to look at it just a little bit out of what your life could be like in the next couple of years if you do sacrifice short-term right now. We overlook these things because you're focused on quick wins. So great traders, they think in terms of long-term, and they focus on sustainable gains rather than quick wins. Sustainable, right? Like I said before, it's a lot of capital more than they focus on gains, because they know that if they have that right strategy and that right focus, that those gains compounded over time, which is the third key of wealth, the power of compounding, will work in their favor and nobody will be able to touch them. And their portfolios will grow exponentially, because it's like that penny doubling, right? And I don't know if you've ever heard the story, but there's a guy, he walks up to this, other guy, and just imagine if I was handing you a briefcase with $1 million. I said, here's $1 million. You can take this $1 million today, or I'll give you one penny that doubles every day for 30 days. And just anybody can do math kind of quickly, right? 1 cent, 2 cents, 4 cents, 8 cents, 16 cents, 32 cents, right? 64 cents. You're a week in, you're not even at $1, right? $1.28. Right? Then what is it? 240 something, right? You're only at a couple bucks. You're almost 10 days in. But when you get to day 30, it's over $5 million. And day 31, that's what a lot of people don't talk about. It's $10.7 million. $10 million in 31 days with the penny doubling. So let's take $1,000 and compound it at 10%. $1,000 compounded at 10% month over month for 6 years. you're a millionaire. $1,000 compounded at 10% for 6 years, month over month, you're a millionaire. Did 10% in the market this morning in one day, right? That's possible when you achieve a level of greatness. But let's just say you start off over the next 90 to 120 days. We can consistently have you making 10% a month. That's fairly effortless in the markets. And a lot of people are like, well, what do you mean? My portfolio manager does 8 to 10% a year. Yeah, because they're not trading your money. They're buying stocks for you. You could be doing it yourself. You don't have to pay them to do it. Oh, well, they know what they're doing. My market goes up. They don't know what they're doing in a lot of cases, right? They're getting stock picks that come down from the upper heads and say, hey, these are ones that should be sustainable over time. And you're just looking at your consistent 8% growth a year. It's kind of monopolized. That's not trading. That's why people go into hedge funds. I want to invest in a hedge fund. Why do you want to invest in a hedge fund? Because hedge funds grow 8, 10, 12% a month. There's hedge funds that perform 250%, 300% a year, right? So when you're looking at the world of investing, it does exist in a very, very big way. We're a company that just is teaching you how to do it yourself instead of, getting private placement in a hedge fund, which you have to be an accredited investor for the majority of the time. You have to, typically a hedge fund will not take an investment less than $250,000. So unless you got $250,000 laying around that you want somebody to invest for you, there is no better skill in the world to learn how to do it yourself. Just understanding how to read the financial markets as a whole is so powerful to position yourself at the forefront of every economic movement that happens, to know exactly what they're talking about when they're saying we're heading into a recession. Do you know a recession is nothing other than a transfer of wealth? It's only a recession for you if you're on the wrong side of it. If you're on the right side of it, it is an abundance. A recession equals abundance for the people that are on the right side of it. We're here to teach you how to be on the right side of it. Okay? So patience and long-term thinking. Great traders understand that success in trading is not achieved overnight. We covered that. They have the patience to wait for the right opportunities and not succumb to impulsive trading. We covered that. They think in terms of the long term, focusing on sustainable gains rather than quick wins. We covered that. That's it in a nutshell. Okay? Patience and long-term thinking. Patience to wait for the right opportunity. Patience to know that you might sit in front of your computer for 8 hours one day and not take a trade. Are you able to not do it if it doesn't align with your plan? And the patience to not only wait for the right opportunity, but the patience to hold a winning trade and not close out too early and let it run and let it go and know where it's going and know how it's going there by following your plan. So that's number 7. Number 8, humility and open-mindedness. The markets, my friends, are very humbling, okay? They are very humbling. Great traders acknowledge that they don't have all the answers, and they always remain open to learning from others. When we built the team at Driven, it was the one single request I had for all the traders. Listen, we are all great at what we do, but this will be a non-ego environment. I expect everybody to work together like we're managing $1 billion portfolio on Wall Street. If we're managing $1 billion portfolio on Wall Street and we are all trading this portfolio, we wouldn't be competing against each other. We would be working together as a cohesive unit to grow that capital. And the more we grow it by working together as a team, the more we win, the more we eat, the more we have for our families. That's how I want to build our education system and bring it to the world. And that's what we did. We built a team of non-ego driven traders that had pure intentions in their lives and their hearts that actually make a living from trading, that trade their live accounts in the trade rooms, right? Not the gurus out there, people that actually do this for a living. And we brought that team together and said, listen, we're going to manage this team like a Wall Street hedge fund. We're all going to work together. We're all going to collab, and we're all going to bring the greatest education system to the world that's ever existed. Okay? We all learn from each other. That's one of our secrets, is that we are not afraid to ask for help if we need it. Our traders are not afraid to ask me for help, coaching, mentorship, and guidance. They're not afraid to ask Noah. Noah's not afraid to ask me. Noah's not afraid to ask them if we see somebody doing something really good. We want to know about it. What are you doing? How are you doing this, right? And when you have that humility in your life and you have a team and you have people that you can learn from in a community of people that are out on this journey to learn this skill with you, I mean, there's really nothing that can stop you. There's nothing that can stop you because you have a whole force that's holding you up and holding you accountable. And also you have the ability to learn and get the knowledge that you seek somewhere in the community because it exists always, as long as you're involved in the right organization. So the markets are humbling. Great traders acknowledge that they don't have all the answers and they're open to learning from others. Here's another thing. They seek diverse perspectives and they're willing to adapt their views when presented with new information. They also recognize that the market is bigger than any individual approach, and they approach that with humility. Okay, so think about this. They recognize that the market is bigger than any individual, and they approach the market with humility. You have to approach the market with humility every day, because if you don't approach the market with humility every day, you will get slaughtered. You will get absolutely slaughtered, and you will get humbled very quickly. Very quickly. It is better to go into the market with humility and be humble than to have the market humble you. I promise. You do not want to feel that pain. I have been there. And I know there's some people on here that have probably been there too. Number 9, integrity and ethics. This is something that you might not have heard before. Okay. Trust is the foundation of any successful trader. Great traders, they operate with a very high level of integrity. They adhere to ethical standards in their dealings. They maintain transparency. They treat others with respect. They hold a strong code of ethics. They understand that a tarnished reputation can have severe consequences in a trading community, right? And these are things that we really embody as a community, okay? This is one of the biggest things that we set forth is we're going to operate with integrity and we're going to operate ethically. And we're going to operate as transparent as we possibly can. So when you come into a trade room with me 3 days a week, 10 hours a week, I trade my live TD Ameritrade account in front of the room every single week, where you get to see the wins, you get to see the losses. And if you follow it, you'll see that there's a lot more wins than there's losses. And you'll see that that portfolio grows consistently. And you'll see, the massive life-changing days that I have daily that could be life-changing for you in a year. I do sometimes daily. And I'm not being egotistical about that. I'm just at that level. I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing this for over a decade. I have earned that result. I have put in the work and the time and the effort to get to that level in my life and in my trading career. You follow the path that we lay out for you, you will achieve it too. How do I know that? Because I've helped thousands of people do it. Noah's helped thousands of people do it. John's helped thousands of people do it. Jamari's helped thousands of people. We have helped thousands of people succeed in this industry. We've helped thousands of people get funded through prop firms. We do this. This is what we do. This is who we are. So integrity and ethics is very important when it comes to being great as a trader. And number 10, passion and perseverance. Passion and perseverance. I should say last, but certainly not least, right? Great traders are passionate about their craft, right? You can tell that I'm passionate when I teach. I'm passionate when I trade. I'm passionate about what I do because I know that it can change your life because it completely changed mine. I never have to work a day in my life again. I'm 37. I never had to work a day in my life while I was 33. I could have actually just retired if I wanted to. I never have to work a day in my life again. I choose to be here because this is what I like to do with my time. This is where I get fulfillment in my life. Money used to drive me. Success, the pursuit of becoming a millionaire, used to drive me. And then I lost it. I realized that I was chasing the wrong thing. It wasn't making me happy. I wasn't fulfilled. My fulfillment the fulfillment I get in my life and the highest joy and the highest amount of gratitude and that I get is when somebody reaches out to me and says, "Thank you, sir, for putting this education and this information up there. Thank you, sir, for that call. Thank you for that, one thing that you said. Thank you for that one, leadership call that you did the other night. Thank you, because that changed my life. I'm able to buy my dream race car. I'm able to, bring my wife home from work. I'm able to, put food on the table for my kids." That is what drives me. That is what I'm passionate about. I want to go and create a program where I can go to any country, anywhere around the world, to anybody in any different walk of life and teach them how to be successful, not only as a trader, but how to lead their household, because that's important. The money is easy. Making money in the information age where we're at, especially with what you're about to learn with us, is very easy. but you need to learn how to lead your life as well. And that's what I'm passionate about, helping people do that, because I went through a lot of dark patches in my life, and I feel like I have some insight on how to get through some of those dark patches. So passion and perseverance is extremely important. Every great trader is passionate about their craft. They have an unwavering desire to succeed, and they're willing to put in the hard work and dedication required. They persevere through challenges and setbacks. They use them as stepping stones to propel themselves forward with greater cause. Okay. So, guys, in closing here, I just want to let you know that I have never been more excited about where we're at. When we get through this boot camp, I'm super excited, because what we're going to do for the very first time in trading history, see, the landscape of trading has changed. Okay. If you look at the landscape of trading right now, when I got started in this industry, there wasn't accessibility to money. Like, if I could prove that I'm a great trader, I couldn't go out to somebody and say, hey, can you loan me $200,000 so I can trade? Right? There wasn't liquidity providers that were just willing to fund traders. The abundance of liquidity that exists today is astronomical. If you can prove yourself to be a best trader, you could get funded for $1 million and keep 80%, 75%, 90% of the money that you trade for them, right? That didn't exist when I got started in this industry. And, one of the things that we've been really keen on over the last years is helping people get funded. Because you might be sitting there and saying, well, Corey, I would love to come in and learn this skill. But if I come in and learn this skill, I don't even have enough money to put in my brokerage account to get started when it's time for me to trade. Well, what if I said, if you come in and learn the skill from us, at the end of you learning in your trading journey, we can actually get you funded with 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, 500,000. Depending on your ability, we will give you a plan on where to get started, and we can actually get you funded. And you get to keep 80 to 90% of that money consistently every single month. That means if you came in, and let's just say over the next 90 days, we taught you how to be a 10% accuracy trader, a 10% accuracy. That means you do 10% a month. And we got you funded, let's just say easy, with $100,000. And you make $10,000 a month, and you keep 8 to 9,000 of that every single month. And let's just say over the next 90 days, you don't have to learn how to be a 20% accuracy or a 20% month over month growth trader to go to the next level. We just get you funded with more money. Let's just say we bump your $100,000 account up to a $300,000 account. And now you're making what? $27,000 a month, doing the exact same thing with the exact same strategy. So at the end of this boot camp, guys, we're announcing our exclusive partnership with Impact Trader, and we got everybody a 25% discount on all their testing fees. We're going to have the best of the best, 1-phase passes, 2-phase passes. You get to select. It's fully customizable to the person, and we are laying out a wealth creation plan for you that I don't think will be matched in this industry. We're doing it for you guys. We're excited about it, and we really, really hope that you get everything that you've wanted to get out of this and more. So with that, I'm going to actually get out of the way for greatness, because we're actually bringing up the Executive Vice President of Global Trading for Driven, Mr. Noah DeFreitas. Noah is truly one of my best friends. His business partners, Noah is the best of the best, right? Series 65, Series 3, all in the same year, right? Just a guy that goes for it and gets it done every single time. So I couldn't be more proud to have him on the team, leading the team, and really bringing this to the world with me. So Noah, the call is yours, my friend.
Amazing. Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate the kind words tremendously. And it's always a super challenge to go after you, because you just say so much value. I have a comment here that was just amazing, and I felt the exact same way. One of my friends said, Corey is incredible, man. I hope everybody is in here. This is as good as it gets. And I'm right there with him. So thank you again. It's always been an honor to be able to follow you and to be here with you. One thing I keep saying about Corey and how I got here, it's how incredible the space of trading is, but how much of a disservice this space is that people are trying to make it more than what it is. Because trading is already incredible, but if you make it more than what it is, you're going to just set people up for disappointment in something so incredible. And that's the challenge. One of another gentleman that I have a pleasure of meeting here, especially in our new partnership, Mr. Travis Flaherty, he said something very powerful. He said, the truth is good enough. And I truly believe that when it comes to trading, the truth is good enough. I've asked some of my students this a few times is, do you guys know anybody in this trading space that have had their lives changed by this space? Maybe it might be one of the most wealthy people you know are individuals that got into trading. And that was my story, is the most successful individual in my family was a trader. So clearly trading is good enough. The problem is people making it better than it seems. You know, you're taking something, I would argue the most powerful wealth creation skill set in the world. And there's all these people making claims that really just don't fit. And Corey's been the one individual that keeps telling the truth in this space. I actually went to college to become a trader, as a matter of fact. And unfortunately, college doesn't teach you how to trade. We pulled up a chart in 5 years. I went to college for 5 years. They pulled up a chart once for about 5 minutes. That's how crazy, unfortunately, the education system, is for trading. It's not a skill that was taught in school or could be taught in school. That's why it's so fortunate that we have an organization like Driven to teach us how to do that, to teach you the most powerful skill set. But when this skill set is skewed, saying that you can flip your account every single week, that you're just making, like Corey mentioned, the 90% accuracies. I like to say this, we see all these Instagram gurus out there, and I'm not, touting myself to anything crazy spectacular here. I just tout myself to that I know trading, and trading's good enough, and it's done great for me. But it seems that I'm the worst trader on Instagram. That's what it seems like. If I look on Instagram, I'm probably the worst trader on Instagram, according to those statistics. I'm not a 90% trader. I don't have a 90% accuracy. I'm not flipping my account every single week. I'm not showing $1 million withdrawals. So clearly there's something wrong with me, right? I'm glad that's not true, though. It's not true. And back to the beauty of what we're bringing here is we can show you what the truth is, and the truth is good enough. And that's why Corey is so special to be leading this organization, is because he knows that. He's been in this field. He's walked the walk, talked the talk. I've seen it too many times to count, and I'm blown away by it. And he's showing that the truth is special, and you don't need anything more than that. And I think that's what the trading space needs more than ever right now, is the truth. Because how sad is it to see somebody get into the most powerful financial skill set that you can have and give up simply because of incorrect expectations? And that's what we're seeing over and over again in this space. And that's what we're trying to get rid of. And we're really, really fortunate to have gone through a lot together. And we now have Driven. Over the years, we've consolidated into what Driven is. And the things that Corey said, having humble traders, we take notes on each other. We show each other our trades. We try to become better as a unit. And it's just been incredibly powerful to see. Our growth in our traders is unbelievable, what I see. I'm taking notes from traders that were taking notes from me. And I think that's a special thing to have. And let alone our students, we're now seeing our students from every walk of life that you could imagine. We have students that are moms. We have students that are over 75 years old that are full-time traders already. Driven's only been in business for about a year now, and we have people who are actually trading. And I really, really tout that to expectations. Trading, and I'm going to show you guys in a little bit of what I'm going to show here, is trading. The skill set isn't really that special. It's the mindset that's incredibly special. So one thing Corey also told me, I was nervous becoming a trader over here because, I have a big responsibility with teaching everybody. He said, you know what, Noah, I'm not worried if you have a problem trading. If you come across a problem trading, we can teach you that skill set, but your mindset is what I need. I need somebody that I can trust, and I need somebody who can accomplish things. Those are the important things, somebody who's disciplined. And that's what I'm going to go through today with you guys, is discipline in trading. And I really need to clear this up for you guys, that this is everything. Do you see how long Corey went about the discipline section in trading? He went on for quite a while because it's so important. He said it's the number one skill set. I believe it as well. And I've been fortunate my life kind of having to develop this skill set for a while. And once I realized that discipline was the skill set needed to be successful in trading, it really helped me a lot. And it just depends on which side of the spectrum you are on when it comes to discipline. But I believe it's actually a relief to know that it's discipline. But on the other hand, discipline isn't easy. But hopefully in this presentation, I can help you guys start to carve out that skill set for yourselves. Even somebody as myself, I'm a bodybuilder. So I do believe bodybuilding is one of the sports that requires the most discipline. You have to not only be disciplined inside the gym, but disciplined outside every single second of the day. People wonder why they can't get in shape. Well, and they work out a ton. Well, that's only 1 hour of the day. If you want to be in shape, if you want to be especially a bodybuilder's physique and get on stage and compete, get it to sub 10% body fat levels, sometimes even below 8, below 6, below 4% even. You need to be disciplined every second of the day. And I believe that skill set has translated into the rest of my life. I'm not saying you have to be that disciplined, but really discipline was the key. And I found that discipline is the key clearly in many facets of our life. In trading, building that discipline will also bleed into other areas of your life, which is super, super powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and dive in super deep on systematizing discipline in trading, because everybody on here has got to be excited about funding. Funding wasn't a thing when I started trading. It's now a thing. And to know that you could be trading as if you are already a professional trader that has been backed, has been vetted for years back. People fought for seats on Wall Street. I believe a seat on the CME was either 150 to 250K. I don't know the exact amount of money, but it was a lot of money. You had to find people to fund you usually to get on there. You had to like shake hands, all that good stuff. You had to have all these track records. What if you can get funded right away? Even if you don't have this track record, we have technology to prove you early on to where you can be funded. And you can have trading actually be that skill set that changes the game for you forever, nearly immediately. And that's very, very powerful. So if you're excited about that, you now have to get extremely serious about discipline, extremely serious, because you're not going to make it past the discipline point. So you have to check this box off immediately, because all the other stuff is already there for you now. The money is already potentially there for you. I can't even fathom that, really. I'm so excited because I've never had that before. I've had to, make it myself. OPM is what it's called, other people's money. That's a whole different ballgame. And having that is going to get a lot of you guys excited, but I need to have you guys all pause for a second and really, really come to the agreement, and hopefully by the end of this presentation you will, that discipline has to happen right away. So let's go ahead and dive in. I want to dive into systematizing the discipline needed for trading. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. All right, 1 second. Boom. All right, hang on 1 second. Let's just make sure this takes. Great. All right, so let's dive in. Systematizing discipline in trading. I don't know if you guys have seen this book before, but Ryan Holiday has a great title of his book. He says, "Discipline is destiny." Discipline is going to shape your trading destiny. So understand that this is your destiny. If you're not disciplined, you might as well not even take a step further. As tough as that sounds, you might as well not even take a step further because that's your destiny. Trading requires discipline. So let's dive to the next slide here is why discipline? This right here is a great example. And this changed the game for me. is I always used to think that the market was the reason that I lost trades. I was like, oh, it was a crappy market, right? And why is my account down? Oh, it was a bad market. I invested in a bad asset. But I was asked this when I read the book. I believe it was Trading in the Zone or The Disciplined Trader by Mark Douglas. He asked me, if you took a sum of all of your greatest losses in trading, was it a problem because of the market, or was it because you actually went against your risk management? You went against what you were willing to lose. And I looked back at all of my biggest losses. It was because I risked more than I was willing to lose. I let my drawdown get more than what I was willing to lose. I blew my own account because we as the individual get to put on the trade, right? We get to set how much money we're investing. We get to set when we are cutting our losses. So the only reason you would ever lose more than you were willing to lose is because of your discipline. It's because of yourself. It was never the market all along. So that was a big deal for me. That changed a lot in my mindset. So you have to understand that we're the reason why we lose excess money in the market. We decide what to risk. We decide when to buy. We decide when to sell. And the market's just going to be the market. The market's going to do what it wants to do. That's not your job. Your job is to manage risk. And this is why we need discipline in trading. So what is discipline? I truly believe that discipline is the art of mastering yourself. And I believe that trading is much more about mastering yourself than it is about when to buy and sell. Like Corey was saying, most traders, and this was another humongous one for me, is most traders, they don't win all the time. The best of the best in the world, I used to Google this all the time to just kind of reaffirm, is what is the average percent win rate of a professional trader? And I believe at that time, it was 30 to 40%. I was like, wow, 30 to 40%? That means most traders are losing more than they win. And not just most traders, most of the best traders are losing more than they win. And I decided to interview not the next Instagram guru who's the best trader in the world. They have the 90% accuracies or, never lose. I started interviewing those that actually won, the stock trading competitions where their accounts were monitored and regulated. I looked at the top Wall Street traders in the world, and they all were saying, yeah, my accuracy, it's about 40%, it's about 50%, 30%. And I realized, wow, it's not about when to buy and sell, really. It's not about being super accurate. It's about being disciplined with how you trade. So the question you guys need to ask yourself is, how do you master yourself? Because discipline is self-mastery. You have to master yourself to be disciplined. And that's the toughest part. And that's the most humbling part, is knowing I have to master my own being. How on earth am I in charge of this thing, yet I haven't mastered it? Our own meat bag masters ourselves. That's the craziest part, is we go against what we should do. So you actually have to master the thing you were born in. It's quite a wild concept. So how do you master yourself is a question you have to ask yourself. And the first thing you need to do is you need to understand that you need to master yourself and emotions. Trading is an emotional game. Your decisions most times are based off of emotion. And a lot of times, the stronger the emotion, the stronger you are subconsciously making decisions. We need to make those decisions from subconscious to conscious, or make those subconscious decisions the right decisions. So you also need to learn what emotions are coming across you during your trading day, during your trading decisions. A lot of us, we trade and we'll buy, we'll sell. And after that trade, we'll wonder, what the heck was I doing? Why did I do that? Why did that seem like a good idea? Why did I hit buy? Why did I hit sell? And what we're not doing is realizing maybe there was an emotion attached during that buying or selling decision. And more times than not, especially when it was one that you regret, there was a powerful emotion. We'll talk about some of those. And next thing you have to do is, so you identify the emotion. The next thing you have to do is identify what actions you took or what you do when you get those emotions. You have to kind of catch yourself, right? You'll see the market do the same thing again. You'll have the same emotion, then you'll have the same action. You now need to catch yourself and identify, okay, I have this emotion, in what action do I take? It takes discipline then to bring those together. So you now have to develop a plan how you're going to manage or combat those emotions while trading. And that's where discipline comes into play. So let's talk about these emotions. And it's such a wild thing. We look at the charts, we're like, oh, it's just charts. It's just price going up and down, people buying and selling. But what you don't understand or may not understand is that the markets are built on emotion. People are buying really because they want to make money. And these emotions can get extreme. And there's two extremes of the emotional quadrant or spectrum. One is fear and the other is greed. If you can be a master at understanding the emotions, fear and greed, you are just that much more powerful about having discipline that actually works, that actually you can put actions behind. Because a lot of people, you get things at a high level, right? It's like, okay, I have emotions, but do you actually know what emotions? Do you actually understand those emotions and why they happen and why the markets react off of those emotions? You need to go levels deep so that you're a master at these things. You have to master emotions. So the first emotion I want everybody to explore here, and again, it's odd to think that, traders, it almost seems that, you see these traders, they're these monotonous people. They're like a brick wall. Wall Street sometimes feels like it's like dry. It's for old people, right? At least that's how it used to be. And the reason why you're seeing that dryness is because these people have to actually master their emotions. And that's what mastery sometimes looks like, is you now do not get reactions from those emotions. And then when we think of other aspects of our life that we might see a lot of emotions, maybe we're watching a TV show, celebrities, all that stuff. You're like, I don't want to deal with emotions because that's what's on TV. That's the Kardashians. I don't want to do that. That's not me. I like trading. That's not emotions, right? It's the exact opposite, actually. If you're looking at these high emotion things like say television, you're looking at the Kardashians, reality TV, that's actually uncontrolled emotions at their finest. You're seeing reaction off reaction off reaction with emotions. You're seeing fear, you're seeing greed, but you're seeing the reaction. Now in trading, it's the exact opposite. It's all of the emotions, and instead of actions, it's recognition. It's recognition of those emotions and making conscious decisions and removing the emotion. So oddly as it sounds, trading is way more emotional in understanding emotions than acting, than like seeing like a reality TV show, then going out and having an exciting night. Because when you're having these exciting nights, you're having an unconscious reaction to emotions. You're on a roller coaster. You're getting excited. You're getting fearful. Those are unconscious. You have to flip the script. You now in trading need to see the roller coaster and consciously understand what emotion is going to happen and make deliberate decisions without that emotion. You have to remove that emotion. You have to now become an expert at recognizing what emotions might happen and making decisions upon that. And that's a lot, guys, right? That's hefty. So you got to be an emotional master. So let's go ahead and dive in and start to discover some of these emotions. We're going to go to the most powerful ones here. So let's start with greed. Greed. This is the way I'm going to be talking about greed, is taking on excess risk to gain possible excess reward. When we are greedy, we want to do something more risky because we think that there's possible more reward. And often there is, but we forget one thing. The first part, excess risk. So what you need to do is understand that is you are giving up, or you are taking on more risk with greed to potentially gain more reward. All we usually focus on is the more reward part. And then when that goes the opposite way, we say, how could that happen? How's my account blown? Well, you forgot the more risk part. And the feeling of greed, that emotion often makes us forget the first part. So the first thing you have to do is learn when you feel greedy. You really do need to learn when you feel greedy. So you got to ask yourself, when do you feel greedy? I think one of the biggest reasons we decide to feel greedy is because we look at other people. We say, oh my gosh, look at them. They made this amount of money. I need to do that. That's really where it gets me, at least, where I start to look at everybody else. They won that trade. I wish I won that trade. Start to feel greedy. You see these meme coins. Oh, that guy put $120 into Pepe coin to Shiba coin and it turned into $1 million. I want to do that. So I'm going to do everything I can to do that, but forget about how much I'm risking. So you need to now identify when you have these emotions as well and what the outcome was. If you can go back in time and start to actually pinpoint, I felt greedy here and the outcome was XYZ, you can start to look at the odds now. Because often, if you actually count them out, because what you're going to typically look at is, okay, I remember that one time I felt greedy, I put a bunch of money on this, and I won. But you're forgetting about the 100 times before that where you did that and lost. So count it up. Actually know what you're working with. Are you actually at high odds when you feel greedy and you make money? Or is it actually really rare that you feel greedy and make money? Statistically, it's rare. In my life as well, it's extremely rare. I've done it. I've been successful being greedy, but I've been much less successful being greedy. And that will help you. So again, you have to know what causes you to feel greed. Do you got to stop snooping around and looking at where people have been making money and start to just focus on your own lane? I think that's one of the big ones. And again, what was that outcome when you feel greedy? Was it good? Was it bad? And start to tally them up and actually see the numbers. So understanding greed is huge. That's the one end of the spectrum. The second end is going to be fear. Fear is also dangerous. Greed is dangerous because you're adding excess risk. Fear is actually the opposite side of the spectrum, something we don't think about as well. It's when we are diminishing risk to avoid potential punishment. Okay? It's actually we take on less risk. Actually, if you think about it, it's kind of mind-blowing to think about. Taking on less risk can also be risky because the best traders in the world, they are the best at minimizing risk and maximizing gain. The best traders in the world are the best at minimizing risk and maximizing gain. So maybe we're thinking, okay, I won't be greedy. I'll minimize my risk. To what degree? Because I've been on the opposite side of the spectrum as well on this, where I was like, okay, I'm not going to invest anything, I'll invest less and less or cut my losses or take profit early because I'm scared of the market moving. I haven't taken that into consideration. So I cut my profit early and the market then does something wild. I've missed out. And you got to understand there's a balance here. I've missed out on millions because I was fearful. I've also lost a lot because I was greedy. So where do you find this balance? Is between fear and greed. The Western mind, in my opinion, is a difficult mindset to have. We are taught all or nothing. We're taught be super, super greedy or be super, super fearful. But why not somewhere in the middle? Because the middle often is the area of most growth. Think of everything in the world that grows. How do you grow something optimally? How do you grow a plant optimally? Do you water the heck out of it and drown it in water? No, it's going to die. Do you never water it at all? No, it's going to die. You find something right in the middle. If you feed a plant, you take care of a plant optimally. You give it optimal sunshine. You give it optimal water. It's going to become a gigantic plant. It's going to be optimized, right? But in our society, it's you're left or you're right, right? We have even in our political system, you're left or you're right. It's good or bad. You're either this religion or you're not, right? You got to believe in this or you don't believe in it at all. That's how we're taught here. You either go super risky or not risky at all. Clearly, the ends of the spectrum are not where it's at. A goldfish, you overfeed that goldfish, it's going to probably die. You underfeed it, it's probably going to die. You feed it just right, it's going to grow. So understand these deeply, please. This is going to help you in these next steps with this funding. So learn when you feel fearful. When literally outline situations where you feel fearful in the market. Because really, to be honest, the best trades are the scariest trades. And I'm not the only one who says that. I believe it's, what is it? It might have been Jesse Livermore, one of the best traders on earth, said the best trade is a difficult trade. I believe that was him. Don't quote me on that. But one of the tops here, the best trade is often a difficult trade. The best trade is usually the fearful trade. The worst trade is that greedy trade, that trade that looks like it's the best trade in the world. Are you guys feeling me at all there? That trade that you felt was a done deal, did it go right for you? Most often it didn't. But that one trade that you're just kind of like, maybe I should do it. Everything's telling me it's going to be risky. And, I'm probably going to take profit early, or I'm not going to take that trade. And then you go, what the heck happened? That was the best trade I could have possibly taken. Understand that. When were you fearful? What was the outcome? Learn what causes you to feel fear. Are you doing the same thing? Are you looking at other people? Are you watching news? How many times has news screwed you up? And you could have just simply saw your trade and taken it. I learned last year that if I would have not watched a single other person trade, I would have been wildly a better trader. I would have just went to my own rules. So that's the emotion of fear. We'll keep going. So you got to ask yourself, will you be able to conquer these emotions and tendencies without discipline? Can you just outright conquer that when you're feeling a bunch of greed, when you're feeling a bunch of fear? Do you think you're going to be able to do this without discipline? Because you got to know trading is such a powerful skill set, but you're dealing with a loaded gun. You're dealing with a loaded gun. There are very few things that you can click a button and lose all of your money on. I mean, we have things, we have like our credit cards, etc. But really, you're dealing with this loaded gun that one bad trade, one single trade is the only trade you need to ruin it all. And do you know what the psychotic thing is? Most people who have been trading here on this call, including myself, we've risked it all one day on one trade. Is that not psychotic? We woke up and said, you know what? Today I'm risking it all. We didn't know that consciously, but subconsciously, that's what happened. Literally, we decided to risk it all that day. To say, you know what? For some reason, there's going to be all these other trades, but today's the day. I'm just going to put it all on the table. That's how wild our emotions can be. And if it wasn't at all, it was a large percent. And if it wasn't, you either don't trade or are lying, because this is the truth. This is why discipline is such a hot topic. So when you understand that one trade is all you need to ruin it all, you really have now got to understand that discipline is so critical. So what is discipline? In my opinion, discipline is the art of sticking to your actions regardless of the emotion and regardless of your circumstance. If you understand this, this is so, so powerful. You got to understand that you're going to have these emotions going up and down and up and down, but that doesn't matter. And you're going to have all these circumstances. Circumstances are just things that trigger your emotion, right? You're going to have these circumstances that trigger that emotion. How many times do you hear all these circumstances? Oh, this happened, so I couldn't do this. It's your circumstances and your emotions that you have to overcome. So the actions are often really, really simple. You're clicking a button, right? Even in anything, even in bodybuilding, the action's simple. You're picking things up and you're shoving things into your mouth to eat. It's not that. It's really, really simple. We all can make food. We all can eat and drink water. We all can lift things and put things down. But your noggin, what's going on in your emotional quadrant of life, that's the problem. That's the issue with this. You're just clicking a button, but what's going on in your life, what's going on in your emotions, that's the issue. And discipline can help you solve that. So we got to stop thinking about the actions. We keep thinking, oh, if I study these actions, this strategy, I'm going to be a successful trader. Nope. Because guess what? Do you think you're going to just somehow not run into emotions? Do you think you're just going to somehow not run into circumstances? You're going to. So that's where you got to stop looking at the actions and really looking at the things that matter. So how do you become greater than your emotions, and how do you become greater than your circumstances? And I'm going to give you some action steps here, some concepts to work on. The first one is you need to develop emotional awareness and emotional control. This is probably the toughest one. You need to develop emotional awareness and emotional control. I know. The next one is you need to develop rules. Rules are everything in this game. I love rules. Rules got me so far in life. Just simple rules. It's amazing that just simply if something equals X, I do Y. That's what you need. Develop rules that can be implemented during these times of circumstances and emotions. Now, this is the biggie. We often develop rules when life is good. Everything's easy when life is good. Everything's easy when you don't have emotions in the mix. Stop making rules and outlining your day based on when everything's easy peasy. You need to develop rules when circumstances change. You need to develop rules when emotions are in play. Those are the big rules. It's easy to eat good when you're not hungry. But when you're starving, when you are beat up at the end of the day, exhausted, you need some dang rules when those things happen. You need some rules when you just lost 5 trades in a row and you think you somehow now know nothing about trading. How do you get your mind back in the game? Rules. And then the hardest part is executing those rules. It's one thing to say, I'm not going to eat chips at night. It's another thing to not eat chips at night. It's one thing to say, I'm not going to overtrade. I'm not going to over leverage. It's another thing to actually not overtrade and not over leverage. So how do you actually execute on those rules? Yeah, it applies to everything. That's a good thing. So let's dive in. Let's go with the biggie here, developing emotional awareness and control. So you really need to learn about yourself. The beauty is, everybody, there's no negatives for learning about yourself. It'll apply to everything in your life, your relationships, your job, everything, even yourself. Understanding you and how you think, how you react is so, so powerful. So the one thing I can not recommend any higher is meditation. And there's a lot of buzzwords when it comes to meditation. I've been meditating consistently for probably close to a decade now. Let's see, since I was 23, I'm 32. So yeah, close to a decade now. And I've honed in a lot on this skill set and understanding really where the benefits are. Because a lot of things, just like I said, we hear meditation, but we don't know why we're doing it. We're just sitting there trying to do this, but we really don't know why or what it's even doing for ourselves. Well, I'm not going to say I know everything about this stuff. But one thing I do know is when you are meditating, you are learning about yourself. Very, very seldom do we sit with ourselves and have to be with ourselves. A lot of us, we keep doing all these addictive behaviors because we don't want to be with ourselves. We keep being busy. We're maybe workaholics. We're maybe addicts. We're maybe watching Netflix because we don't even want to be inside this thing. We know it's so chaotic inside this thing that we want zero time there. That's how crazy we don't understand ourselves. So meditation is a time where you actually have to sit with you. Noah has to sit with Noah. And do I like Noah is a question I have to ask myself when I'm in there. Am I even cool chilling with myself? And for a lot of us, including myself, it's not that cool sometimes. And that's an issue, right? If you just can't sit there with your own self and enjoy it, you have a problem with yourself. And there's an issue within yourself. And you do not understand yourself. And you're not a master of yourself. I'm just going to say it. And a lot of us don't think of that in that concept. If you can't spend time with yourself, how good do you even know yourself? How much self-control do you have? And that's what meditation can give you, is the ability to actually sit with yourself and learn yourself. Because if you don't know why you trade, or you don't know why you take the actions that you take, sit with yourself for just 20 minutes in silence and listen to yourself. And you will, without a shadow of a doubt, know why you do what you do and why you are who you are and why you're making the decisions that you're making. Because when I sat with myself, and when I sit with myself a lot of times, and I see my life in a certain way, and I meditate, I will immediately go, I know exactly why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because I'll sit with myself and it'll be a nightmare inside my head. I'll be thinking of this, that, high emotions, low emotions. I'm thinking of crazy stuff. I might be afraid even just sitting with myself. I'm scared with myself. And this is why meditation is so important, because it's a practice of sitting with yourself. It's a practice of understanding what your internal dialogue is saying, what your internal emotions are saying. And if you can't even control that, how do you think you can control yourself during the markets where you have everything else going on besides just literally sitting with yourself? So you got to be meditating or doing some form of action that allows you to experience yourself and understand yourself. Number 2 is a trading journal. A lot of us will take a trade and not remember even what that trade was, why you did it, why the outcome happened. A trading journal allows you to actually take time and understand why you went through that trade, why you made the decisions. And it gives you a record of all of that, what happened, all the emotions, all of the criteria, all of the circumstances. So you need to be journaling your trades. One of my favorite things to do is you can go back every day, 10, 20 minutes, every single day. You can go back, open your chart, open that trade, and just study it. It's actually a form of meditation. You're studying yourself. You're studying your emotions. You're studying the market's emotions even. And you can go back and break down that trade. You can write a journal about that trade. You're not only going to learn about the markets, you're going to learn about yourself. And also you're going to learn about the psychology of other people. That's another word for the markets, is the psychology of those trading inside that market. So have a trading journal. Go back in your day and actually understand those things, because you'll find patterns over and over and over again. You'll find patterns of emotions. You'll find patterns of circumstances, and you'll find patterns of the actions that you took because of those emotions and circumstances. So, okay. So the next one, it's exactly what I said, is have a daily trading review. Every time you take a trade during the day, go back to that day, maybe a few hours later at the end of the day, and go through that. It's one of my favorite things to do. I do it every single day, depending on daylight savings, either 4 or 5 p.m. And you just go back. I think it's very, very it provides so much clarity to you. Because imagine you take a trade, you lose that trade. You take a trade, you lose that trade, and it's just sitting here in your head. You're just frustrated. Why did that happen? But you're not going to go back and understand it. You're creating your own karma. We're going to go a little spiritual. You're creating karma. You're just living with these unsettled emotions inside you the whole day. You have to go back and release that and review your trades for the day. And then the final one is the emotional journal. A lot of us, we don't understand our emotions. Meditation's a great one for this. Also, just journaling your feelings. Sometimes we have all these emotions bottled up, and until you put them on paper, you can't analyze them. How do you sort out something that we don't pay attention to at all? A lot of us, we have to start journaling. So along with a trading journal, try an emotional journal. The next piece we talked about is rules, is developing those rules for when emotions and circumstances arise. And the key point is for when emotions and circumstances arise. The biggest mistake is we make rules for when life is good. I'm going to hit the gym when I have my amazing lunch break that hopefully won't ever have conflicts. How many times do we have conflicts over lunch breaks? A lot. So you now need to create rules. If there is a conflict at lunch, then when am I going to go to the gym? Okay. So you need to develop rules in your trading plan. When X emotion happens or X circumstance happens, I will do Y, Z, etc. For example, after X amount of losses, do you have a plan that you'll do Y? One of the biggest things people do, a very simple mistake to avoid, is simply over trading. How many losses at what percentage or whatever it might be? I like percentages because it now applies to any dollar amount. So at what percentage or number of trades are you going to lose before you do Y, before you stop for the day, before you stop for the week, before you stop for the month, before you stop and get with a coach, stop and get with a mastermind, stop and read a book, stop trading and trade paper, trade a demo account until you actually earn that money back. Because a lot of us think this, and this is a part of discipline. We think, oh, if I lost all this money because I had bad discipline, I can just trade it back. That is one of the most dangerous things you can think. If you lost a bunch of money because you have no discipline or poor discipline, what makes you think at that moment you can trade it back? The last thing you should do is trade that money back. You should trade paper. You should earn that money back, not trading, because clearly discipline's not there. So maybe it could be trading a paper account until you feel comfortable again, that you don't have those discipline issues. Another one is thinking the emotional side. This one took me a while to think about, but I've often, and start to reflect on this, when you go into the market and you have a certain emotion like fear, you might have an emotion that you really don't understand what's going on in the market. Most often, at least for me, when I have those emotions, I don't make good trading decisions. So if I have a threshold of an emotion, of fear or of uncertainty, I just won't trade. And it's one of those things that I found to help me is I just won't trade. Also, you might have another one on the opposite side. If you have XYZ emotion, but your criteria is hit, you will trade. You will go against that emotion, but you have criteria. But you need rules for this. You need to understand which emotions, because emotions are different. They absolutely are different. Anger is different than happiness. Euphoria is higher than happiness and joy. You know, there's different emotions. Do you know what euphoria is? Do you know what anger is? Do you know what fear is? Do you know what depression is? You need to understand these emotions. And again, it's a really weird thing. We think of trading as this emotionless game, which means, oh, great, I don't like all these fluffy emotions. I'm going to be a trader. But actually, you have to be the biggest master of fluffy emotions out there. You have to be a better master of emotions. Like you should watch the Kardashians and be like a psychologist on these emotions and understanding them. That's how much of an emotional master traders are. It's definitely the opposite. It's not what you see. It's what's on the underneath what you see, underneath the surface. Cool. So the next thing is executing on your rules. This is probably the hardest one. Saying versus doing is so different. The traders who say they're going to do is much different than the traders who do what they say they're going to do. It's who actually shows up that day and does what they're going to say. I think this is one of the highest qualities I look for in a partner, in a friendship, people who I seek advice from, is the people that actually are in the trenches doing what they say they're going to do, regardless of the result. So many of us are worried about these results. We care what people are going to think about us. But that's not the person who's at the end of things who has the trophy in their hand in the end. The person who has a trophy in their hand in the end is the person who showed up over and over and over again, who failed over and over and over again. The person who has nothing is the person who decided to not show up that day. Really, execution is the make or break. So the first thing I'm going to say, it's easier said than done. It's very, very easy to say I'm going to follow my rules, but following them is difficult. How many times is it easy to say I'm going to follow my diet, but the moment you get hungry, it's difficult. The moment you see your favorite food, it's difficult. The moment you're out and about and you're at a restaurant, to say you're going to choose a salad, really difficult. Or whatever you want to call it, the lower calorie option, very difficult. So there's certain things that you can do to help the execution. And this is really where you got to start thinking creatively. The first thing I would say is find a mastermind, find an accountability partner, get part of an organization of people who are all on the same mission. And this is why I'm so blessed to be part of Driven and to be friends with Corey, to be friends with all the traders here, to be part of a mastermind where I can have accountability and relatability. Is where I have people who are executing their rules. I have people who are showing up for what they say they're going to show up for. Because now that I'm a part of this group, that I'm a part of Driven, I now feel like I'm obligated to show up. I'm obligated to be the best trader that I need to be. And also I have relatability. When I lose trades and I come to the group and I say, hey, I lost this trade, I feel stupid. They say, hey, don't worry, we've done this before. I risked more than I should have. I feel stupid. They're going to be able to relate. Well, what we're doing when we're not a part of this group, we're going to our friends and family who don't trade, and we're saying, hey, I lost money. You know what they're going to say? Well, you're an idiot. You shouldn't be trading. Look at you. They'd say, look at you, Noah. You're a personal trainer. You shouldn't trade. What the heck are you doing? You lost money? Yeah, I told you you're going to lose money. You're stupid. You shouldn't trade. But do you think anybody at Driven is calling me stupid if I lost more money than I was supposed to? That I lost a few more trades? You think they're telling me that? No. They're telling me, hey, man, I understand that. This is trading. We've been there before. We're here to help you. So this is where the execution is easier. It's easier to execute when I know I have people I can relate to. It's easier to execute when I know I have people that are counting on me. Getting in a mastermind, super, super powerful. Have your rules written down. Corey mentioned this. Have your rules actually written down. It's a lot easier to follow rules if they're very, very clear. This is one of my rules, is if I lose 3 trades during the day, I do not trade again that day. So, and it's written down. My first trade is a certain percent. My second trade is another percent. My third trade is another percent. It's written down. If the trend is not my friend, if I'm looking for a long, or the market looks like it's going long, but the trend is short, my rules say I cannot trade short. Not easy to do, but when they're written down, it can be a little bit easier. Evaluate yourself. Are you actually looking back at the end of the week and actually evaluating, did you follow your rules? One of the most powerful things is to see where you started today, see how many trades you've taken during the week, and see where you are at the end of the week, and simply evaluate yourself. I was here at the beginning of the week. I'm now here at the end of the week. And naturally, you're going to have the questions of what happened during that week. If you can get the more conscious you can get in trading, or in anything, the more you can actually understand what's going on. Another thing is reward yourself for doing things right. You know, we think so much on the outcome. Oh, I followed my plan, but I lost that trade. Ah, dang it. You should never be disappointed following your plan. That is the win. Your plan is going to get you to the top, not whether you win or whether you lose. Trading is not about winning or losing. Write that down. Trading is not about winning and losing. Actually, it has nothing to do with winning or losing. It's about following proper risk management and letting the odds take care of itself. Because as long as you have an edge in the market and you follow risk management, you are going to win. So it doesn't matter if you win or lose. If you have your edge and you're playing your edge, you're going to win. But if you stop playing your edge, you have no idea. So you got to stop beating yourself up. If you have a 50% accuracy, okay? If you have a 50% accuracy, which is actually decently high, if you have a 50% accuracy in the market, Do you believe that you could potentially lose 10 trades in a row? As a matter of fact, out of 100 trades, if you have a 50% accuracy, there are a situation where you could lose 50 trades in a row. In the next 50, you win. Could you mentally withstand that? 50 trades lost. I could not. But that's what the statistics say. Even at a 50% win rate, you could lose 16 in a row pretty easily. 16, that's mind-boggling. So if you punish yourself for your rules not planning out, but you did stick to them, you're now going to you're probably not going to be able to withstand it. You're probably going to change your strategy. And hopping strategy is one of the most dangerous things you can do. You start to dampen your edge. So let's go into another thing. This is something I think is incredibly important for developing discipline, is you need to shift your identity. The hardest thing in any endeavor that I have taken on personally was shifting my identity. But the number one thing that changed the game immediately for me was shifting my identity. We'll start with my fitness journey. I was a chubby kid growing up. People would make fun of me for it. I couldn't get on like rafts or anything because I was so weak. I was last in the mile. I was used to getting picked last in sports. I was called the fattest kid at a public pool. And I wanted to be fit. But my identity was a fat, chubby, weak kid. My identity was the worst athlete. My favorite thing to do was watch people do the pull-up contest because I knew I couldn't do it. I used to be so excited on who won the sit-up contest, who won the push-up contest, because I knew I couldn't do that. I was excited for them because I knew it wasn't me. That wasn't my identity. So I was completely removed from that. And I wanted to be fit. I wanted to be that hero. My whole mission was to be the hero of my family. So I wanted to look like a hero. I wanted to act like a hero. But my identity was not a hero. Until I shifted my identity to actually being a bodybuilder. And it's crazy to say that you're a bodybuilder when you're not in shape, right? It's crazy to say that you're a trader when you haven't made money. But that shift in identity is one of the most powerful things that can actually give you the confidence to have that discipline in your trading. Let me give you an example. If you believe that you are not somebody who is fit and active, or you're not whatever you want to call yourself, I'm a fit individual. If you go out to eat and somebody offers you cake and you believe you're a fit individual, it's going to be a lot easier to deny that cake than to believe that you're just a normie. Yeah, if there's cake on the table, I'm normal. I eat cake when there's cake. Okay? When you believe that you're not a trader and you lose a trade, you give up. You're not a trader. So if you lose a trade, yeah, that's right. I'm not a trader. I should give up. If you believe that you're not a trader and you wake up tired in the morning and you miss your market session, yeah, it makes sense. You're not a trader. I'm going to sleep in. I don't need to wake up for my market session. But if you believe you're a professional trader, if you miss market open, you're going to get fired, right? If I don't show up for market open, I'm getting fired. I'm not staying out late because I have to be home for market open because I'm a professional trader. You got to realize also it takes time. So you're going to have to be that identity before you get there. You have to be before you become. It's called become. You have to become is before even in the word become. Okay. You have to be that, but it's hard to do. It's hard to mentally grasp. For example, you're going to have that goofball ask you, how much money have you made in trading? It might take you 90 days. It might take you a year. It might take you 2 years. For me, it took 4 years. I remember 2 years down in the road where I tell people, yeah, I trade. They're like, cool. How much money have you made? I said 0. They'd say, okay, how long you've been trading? You must be pretty new. I'd say 2 years. They'd go, you're insane, and walk away. But that's what has to happen, or else you're not going to be able to take the actions. I couldn't stay up every single night trading if I didn't identify myself as a trader. So you need to shift your identity. If you haven't done that, it's the hardest / easiest thing you can do to change the game for you. When I became an educator at Driven, my trading had never been that good ever, simply because I was a professional trader that moment, with a huge organization that I was responsible for. Shifting your identity, super powerful to help with discipline. So I'm going to give you some daily disciplines that I use. You don't have to use them. This is just some examples. I think examples can be helpful. But here's some disciplines you can do to build momentum. So the way I break things down is breaking it down between study and practice. I think disciplines are great. One is the conceptual, which is the study, and then practice, which is the actual applied. You need both of them. A lot of us, we do a lot of things that are conceptual. Think of them like walking, your right foot and your left foot. Think of conceptual as your right foot. Your left foot is applied. So a lot of us, we do a lot of conceptual things. We study. But if you're not actually taking actions, you're not actually trading, you're not moving forward, you're just moving in circles. So where are your conceptual disciplines and your applied disciplines? So let's talk about conceptual first. Studying your mind, and this is kind of the other things as well. You have the mental and the physical. You have the conceptual, you have the applied. You have the mental, you have the physical. So studying your mind. Are you studying your mind every single day? I mean, most of us aren't studying your mind at all. That's half of your unit, if you will. That's half the equation is your mind. So if you're not studying your mind at all, you're just not going to even be coming close, right? So study your mind. One thing you can do is meditate 20 minutes twice a day. You'll be studying your mind. Study trading. Maybe it's in Driven. We have a full trading academy. You can study our lessons. You can hop on live sessions. You can get a coach. You can read a book. Study trading, maybe just 20 minutes a day. Next thing is applied, practicing trading. This changed the game for me. I didn't even know you could practice trading. You can do what's called back testing. You can literally just go into the charts, have your criteria, and look what happens when your criteria is hit. Most people back test 0 minutes a day. They'll sometimes back test 1 day a month. Imagine back testing 10, 20 minutes a day. If you back tested 10 minutes a day for an entire year, you'd know trading, bottom line, in my opinion. A lot of us don't even practice. We practice sports. Why don't we practice trading? Practice your mind. Here's a challenge. Practice 20 trades without an emotional response. If you can do 20 trades without having one emotional response, meaning you have a criteria, you execute on that criteria, and you let your emotions fight you all day long, but you don't change your trade regardless of any emotions. If you can do that 20 times, you have a really, really strong grasp on your trading. So those are just some ideas that you can go across. So here's the last thing is I'm going to talk about how funding can enhance this discipline. Again, funding wasn't something that we had an option for. Really, you had to do the classic way, shake hands and get people to just, pay you and be convicted in you. Having the ability to have more accessible ways of funding is incredible. And actually, funding can enhance your discipline. Because funding programs, people who are going to fund you or programs that are going to fund you, they require discipline by nature. You're not going to get money unless you display discipline. It's such a beautiful thing. So this is where funding is amazing. It has discipline baked in already. And also, funding allows you to actually have an account size, potentially have an account size that allows you to trade with discipline with much greater ease. For example, if I only have a small account and I need to make X, Y, and Z income every single month, it's very, very difficult to stay disciplined if I don't have that account size. Well, what if you could get funding to where simple trading is all that's needed for you to actually make the income that you want? So here, discipline's easier. It's hard to make only scant amounts of income with your trading with a small account size. But when you have the right account size, that is where it's a lot easier to keep that discipline because you're actually making what you're looking to make. It's kind of what Corey talked about. And the final thing is if you can't pass or you can't get approved for funding, it's really great because clearly you don't have that discipline yet. So it's a good reminder that, hey, great, I'm not even using my own money right now. Maybe it's like a cost or a fee, whatever it might be, but I don't have the discipline yet to be funded. So I can now go back to the drawing board. So in conclusion here, I know I'm going over just a little bit. No matter what, discipline comes first. Hopefully this presentation has helped you with that. Discipline, you can't outmaneuver discipline. It's always going to come first. So start there. We have an incredible announcement as we go along here in this funding boot camp. I hope you guys are excited to hop on our next days here, but know that you got to start here. I would be laser focused on ironing out this discipline thing so that once funding becomes available, I'm good to go. We're in a time where the game and trading, how trading can change your life, has never been more possible, especially with funding. So as we go along here, keep discipline on your mind. Iron this out as quickly as possible because the game can be changed faster than ever. So I'm going to end it here. Thank you guys tremendously for hopping on this call. Thank you, Corey, for kicking things off here. Hop on every single day today, because if you take away everything that we have given you and are going to give you, you're going to be that much more ahead of the game. It's worth it. All this stuff is right here for you. Imagine never having to worry about trading, never having to worry about income, just having a skill set that you can use for the rest of your life to potentially have income. That's what trading can do. So let's go ahead and all dive in here. Appreciate you guys a ton. We have an amazing event. I'll see you guys tomorrow.